Hi everyone. Good to see you on my channel today. Today I will tell you a wonderful story. It is full of love and kindness. I hope you enjoy it and I wish you an enjoyable viewing experience. Thank you.
Anna went to school. It was very interesting. They had a very friendly class. The guys always supported each other. Hi, everybody. Andrew came into the class. He was always up to something. It's Saturday. We have to think of something. Leka came up to him. We'll think of something. The boy was sure. Now he had to do his homework, and then he could just go out, and there would always be something to do. Guys didn't have to think long enough to do something. And the girls did not lag behind them. They were always with them, even when they hooliganized. Everyone in the class was practically the same. Only Tony was different from everyone else. He could not tune in. As a dictation or a test, the boy always grabbed twos. Well, as you cannot realize that educated you will be useful in later life, said his friends. Leave me alone, as it turns out, so I learn, he told them. And you try, work hard, there is not so much left till the end of the ninth. His classmates did not want to lag behind. And again they all sat together in the classroom and laughed about something. When the teacher entered the class, she looked at the boys and girls sternly. They immediately stopped talking. Though the class teacher was young, only after the institute, they were afraid of her and always listened to her. And now, after lessons, they were running to the river. It would be fun there. Tony sat a little further away, although he was cheerful and also did a lot of silly things. Today, apparently, he was not in the mood. Why are you sad? Anna came up to him. I don't want to talk. Move away. He turned away from her. Tell me what happened. The girl did not want to listen to him. Go away, frowned the boy. No. Anna moved even closer to him. Why are you bothering me? It seemed that Tony was ready to cry. All people are like people, but what's wrong with you? You've neglected your studies. Look at yourself. Your hair is not cut. Your shirt is crumpled, said his classmate. And what do you want from me? He sat there frowning. We're worried. Anna was telling the truth. Yeah, I see how you're worried. He looked at the others, who had taken off their shoes and were already knee-deep in water. So it's just a good mood, but really? She stopped talking, not knowing what to say next. Tony sat there drawing lines in the sand with a stick. There was a lot of heat in his family. Back when he was a little younger, Mom and Dad used to be happy. Dad would come home from work, always bringing some candy or something. Mom would cook a nice dinner. They'd sit at the table together, eat dinner, talk. The man would always say something funny. Tony would laugh until he cried. And then, where have you been again? Mom yelled. What do you care? Answered the father in a voice like he was unloading railroad cars. No one laughed anymore. There was no smell of delicious cutlets or anything else. It got very tense. Neither Mom nor Dad paid any attention to Tony, and he didn't understand what was wrong. It went on like that for about 2 years, and then Dad didn't come home from work at all. Mom, where's Dad? The boy came up to the woman. How should I know? She was sitting at the table, a bottle in front of her. Why? The son looked at her. Leave me alone. So the mother started drinking. Every day it was more and more. And what should I wear to school today? He looked at the clothes piled in the corner, which had not even been washed, what to speak of ironing. Find something. His mother wasn't going anywhere because it had been 3 weeks since she'd been fired. That's how Tony had slipped up in his studies and everything. He couldn't tell anyone this because he was very ashamed in front of his classmates. But his story didn't end there. One day someone came to their house. After there was a knock on the door, the boy went to open it, and a woman stood on the threshold. Hello, she entered the apartment. Good afternoon, looked Tony at her. Where are your parents? The woman looked around. Mom's asleep, looked back into the room, and even though he was a child, Tony realized it was coming for him. So, She stretched and walked to where the boy was looking. "You wouldn't think it. She'll wake up soon and go to work," he told the visitor. Yes. Now we need to find out where your father is." The lady shook her head and continued to look around at the conditions Tony was living in. Now she took the boy with her until the boy's father was found. By evening he was found. He came to pick up his son. It was obvious that he was excited. "Tony, son, what's wrong?" He knelt down in front of him. "Dad, take me away from here," the boy asked him. If he had been a little less years old, he probably would have cried, but now he was experiencing everything inside him. Sure enough, the man talked to the law, then put his hand on his son's shoulder, and they went from there. In the car, they rode in silence to where the man now lived. They entered the apartment. A woman met them in the hallway. "Hello," she said cheerfully. "Hello." The boy looked at her. Now he understood what had happened, why his dad hadn't come home, and why his mom had started drinking. "Come in." His father pushed him towards the room. "Are you hungry?" "No." Tony shook his head. He didn't want to eat or drink anything in this house. The boy realized only one thing. If now he starts to do something wrong, he could just be put in an orphanage. And the boy also understood that until the end of the 9th grade was just a little bit. He had to make it through, and then he would just leave this town from his mom and dad, who suddenly didn't need him. "Okay, then go. Maria has made a bed for you," his father showed him. "Thank you." The boy tried to be polite. From that time, everything became unnecessary. No studies, no friends, nothing. He was only waiting for one thing, to pass his exams, to get his certificate, and then he would go far away. And then there was Anna, who he liked. "Can I come in?" His father came into the room. "Yes," nodded the son. "I want to talk." His father sat down across from him. "Why, I understand everything myself. You found someone else, betrayed Mom, and you know how she is hurt and offended," Tony said sadly. "That's good." He patted him on the back. "You see, it happens to adults that they break up, and there's nothing you can do about it," the man told him. "Dad, I understand and I know. You don't have to say anything." Tony looked up at him. "Okay then, I won't bother you," got up his father and went to the door. Marie, his new lover, didn't care what the boy was wearing or how he looked, so he walked as he went. "Tony, are you hung up?" Anna poked him in the side. "Ha!" He turned to her. Sitting there, silent, she tried to look into his face, but he looked away. "Anna, go to the others, leave me alone. I don't feel like talking to anyone," he asked her. "Why did you come with us then?" The girl couldn't understand. "I have nothing to do at home." He was telling the truth, only he couldn't say why. Anna shrugged her shoulders, stood up, and went to the others. "And you're the same." He turned and looked at Anna after him. They sat for a while longer and then got ready to go home. "Tony, let's go," Anna called him. His friends stood waiting for their friend and classmate. "Go on, I'll catch up with you," he told them. "No way." Anna walked up to him again, offering her hand. The guy reluctantly stood up. He liked her, so he didn't refuse. And again they were at school, discussing future exams and everything else. "What are we going to do for graduation?" Andrew asked everyone. "Wait, you have to pass the exams first," the girls laughed. Today after school, Anna saw that Tony went in a completely different direction, not home. She caught up with him and walked beside him. "What do you want?" Without turning around, he asked her. "Tony, tell me," she told him. "I don't want to." He shook his head sharply. "I swear no one will find out." She stepped ahead of him. "What do you want from me?" He tried to get around the girl. "What do you mean what? We all care about each other." She said it with an expression that made Tony laugh. "I'll be leaving soon, and we'll probably never see each other again," he told her. "How do you leave?" "And the 10th grade, we dreamed." She did not finish. The guy looked at her, so that she understood everything. Persuade, not persuade, he will still leave. "What does your mom tell you?" the girl asked him. Nothing, it was funny again. But that was only because Mom couldn't say anything at all right now. Even if she did, it would be off the record. Tony continued to live with his dad and his new girlfriend, who he didn't like at all. Or maybe he only had that attitude towards her because of his mother, who he felt sorry for. Well, let's change the subject. Then, for Anna really wanted to take him by the hand, take him home, fill a bathtub full of water, maybe even with foam, so that the boy would wash himself and she would wash his clothes for him. But she couldn't do that. What would the others think? No, Anna wasn't ashamed. She was just old enough to be judged at school. They'd say you were friends, and now what? And now it was exam time. The guys tried, helped each other, gave advice. Everything went very well. No one from the class wrote badly. Now the graduation was ahead of us. Girls, what are we going to do? Where to get dresses? Let's ask our parents and all together go to the store, Anna suggested. So they did. Now all that was left to do was to wait for the day. The girls knew that the guys were getting ready too. The only thing unknown was what was going on with Tony now. And he didn't know how to start a conversation about it. He was ashamed, and he didn't want to ask his father for anything. But he wanted to say goodbye to his classmates very much, so the guy, overcoming all his pride, approached his father. "Can I talk to you?" He looked at the man, not paying attention to Maria, who was sitting there. Sure, the man stood up and followed his son into the room. "I need something to wear to the prom," Tony said, at that moment not looking at the man at all. "And what is it exactly?" His father looked at him. He only now thought about the fact that he really hadn't done anything for his son for a long time. "I don't know. At least a new pair of pants and a shirt. A suit was out of the question." "Great that you told me about it." He got up, went out into the hallway, took his jacket, and looked at the guy. Already, he wondered. Of course, what to wait for? Smiled the man at that moment, somewhere in the depths of the guy's soul, the thought that not everything is still lost, and he really needs someone. In the store, they quickly chose everything. Not to say that Tony was very happy just in what he had. He just would not go to the celebration, and the certificate would get later. "Tony, you're coming, aren't you?" Anna looked at him. "Yes," he nodded. "Good, because I can expect anything from you." She ran up to the guy and hugged him. "What are you doing?" He took her hands away. "Tony, why are you being such a jerk?" She made a hurt face. Normal, he didn't want to talk anymore. And then came the day that many people were waiting for, because they were going to leave school. Girls standing pretty, guys in shirts and suits. They got their diplomas, then there was a little tea party in the classroom, and that was it. "Well, guys, come on," stood Tony in front of them and held out his hand. "So that's it, everyone, you're saying goodbye like we're never going to see each other again," said Andrew. "Probably not," said the guy sadly. "That's it. Take it easy if you've made up your mind," the friends he'd spent so much time with told him. "Goodbye," Anna hugged him. "How about goodbye?" He didn't push the girl away from him now. "No, I believe we'll still meet," she muttered, and a tear rolled down her cheek. "Don't cry, don't." He pulled her against him and looked at everyone else. "Okay, I won't." They stood there for a few more seconds and then started to go home. Tony felt so bad. "I don't know why," Anna said. "Come on, life goes on." She and her friend Natalie were walking because their houses were in the neighborhood. The girls knew that they had 2 more years to study at school, so they did not say goodbye, but just said the usual goodbye to each other. All summer long, who did what? Some went on vacation to a health camp, some went to the village to their grandmother. Well, and the rest just sat at home, walking in the yard and doing their own thing. The company met in early August. All sat and shared who was where, who was on vacation with whom, how they met, and everything else. Only Patika was absent among them. They talked and shared their impressions, and also about how they would go to the 1st of September, and what awaited them in the 10th grade. Tony might as well have called, Anna told Natalie. She resented him for never telling anyone anything. The boys had learned about everything from the gossip that went around town. Wow, this happened in the family and he kept quiet, Andrew said. He'd always been secretive, Anna confirmed. They didn't think of him again because there were other things to worry about. The school days began. Nothing was different from 9th grade. Everything was exactly the same. We had to get up in the morning to study, spend the whole day at school, then lessons, and, of course, then the street. Now that the kids are older, their parents let them do a little more, and here they are already sitting in the yard. It's dark outside. Andrew is strumming his guitar, the girls are singing songs, the guys are singing along. It's very heartwarming and good. The year flew by quickly. And again summer vacation. Now the guys were quite grown up. They were to go to the 11th grade. The girls were growing, forming, the guys too. Some of them had gotten longer over the summer. Some of them had gotten stronger, but they were still together. Anna had wanted to know something about Tony all along. She even went to his house, but her mom, who was still drinking, couldn't answer anything. And the girl didn't want to go to her father. In the spring, everyone was preparing for exams, which were very important. They all wished and dreamed of entering a good educational institution. Graduation, meeting the dawn, talking until morning, goodbye, because everyone, even girlfriends Anna and Natalie, decided to enter different institutes. So, let's agree when we'll meet, Andrew said. It will definitely be summer. Nanny picked up on his words, as he always did. Of course, we won't go camping in winter, laughed the girls. They met on the second day after graduation at school, and then it was necessary to submit documents. Anna dreamed of going to the financial academy. She herself did not know why she was drawn in this direction, but when she was in the 8th grade, for some reason it went through her mind, and now the girl had no doubt where she would go. Daughter, are you ready? Her mom asked her. I don't even know, she doubted herself, because she imagined what exams she would have to pass there. Her grades were not that good, but she knew math, English, physics quite well. And so, together with her parents, she came to the academy where she wanted and dreamed of studying. They put the applicants in a dormitory for the duration of the exams, and now the girl was left here alone. All right, Anna, break a leg, kissed her mother. Thank you, she smiled at her. Not thank you, but to hell, said the father. Well, to hell. Anna didn't want to send her parents there. Preparations were in full swing, everything seemed fine. But when the exams came, the girl realized that she had written something, but most likely, the points did not get. That's how it turned out. Why are you crying? A young man came up to her when she was standing at the board with the list of applicants. I didn't get in, she shook her head. So what's the big deal? Wait a year and start over, he advised her. No, I won't waste time, Anna said. She called her parents and told them that she was going to a college in the same city and would enroll there. Anna, how can it be? You wanted to go to the institute. Mom got excited. Don't worry, everything will be fine, assured her daughter. All right, daughter, as you wish, the woman told her. They said goodbye, and the girl went to the place she had just told her mother about. The admissions committee had enrolled her, and just like at the institute, they put her in a dormitory for a week so she could prepare. Compared to the financial academy, the exams here were very easy. Anna even grinned when she saw the assignment sheet. She quickly solved it all and went to the desk to turn it in. Are you sure? The teacher asked her. Absolutely, she answered, put the sheet on the table and walked towards the exit. All right, she took the sheet in her hands and once again looked at the back of the woman who sat behind the desk. A few days later, the results were known, and Anna saw her name among those admitted. There was no such intense joy, but the fact that she had already done it was good. She came to her hometown for a short time to pack her things to move into the dormitory, to tell her mother how everything was, and then she went back. Studying was not very difficult. In contrast to school, here Anna was given knowledge very easily. Her report card was full of A's, and in many subjects she often had an automatic, that is, she didn't need to pass anything. The year flew by very quickly, and here they came home again for vacation. After Anna sat with her mom, she went straight to her friend Natalie, hoping that she was already home. And yes, Natalie was indeed home. "Hi, friend." Anna opened her arms for a hug. "Hi, come on in." She let her into the apartment. When Anna got there, she saw Andrew and Nanny already sitting in the kitchen at her friend's place. "Wow, they are all gathered, and why didn't they call me?" she said resentfully. "Yes, we just came here, waiting for the others," they said and began to hug, because they had not seen each other for a long time. But nobody joined them till the evening. The boys decided to go alone. They were again at the same place, at the river, where they used to like to come. Everyone had grown up and spoke differently and looked the same. It had only been a year, but the boys had really grown up a lot. "Why don't we go somewhere together this summer?" Andrew asked. "Why don't we all go together, couple to couple?" Andrew winked at Natalie. "What are you talking about?" Anna looked at them. "Come on, I'm kidding." And the friends really went on vacation. 2 weeks flew by like a day. It was very relaxing. And then everyone started getting ready for school again, and on September 1st, they were all busy again. Since Anna was now in college, this was her last year of school. She didn't have any plans for the future. She wanted to graduate from this institution and try again to get into the financial academy she wanted so badly. But no one asked her about it, and fate ordered a little differently. After the final exams, she wanted to go home and then prepare the documents and submit them to the next educational institution. "Daughter, but are you really ready to study for another 5 years?" Mom looked at her. "Mom, it was my dream, practically since childhood, and how can I give up on it?" Sat at the table Anna and spoke. Of course, she didn't want to lose so many years, but it was still worth a try, or she would never forgive herself for it. Well, if that's your dream, then please, do as you wish," only divorced her mother. Anna went, she applied, and now she had to prepare for the entrance exams again. The girl already knew roughly what would be there now. She was studying books and methodical materials they were given. When the exams were over, it was left to wait a week, and then find out who got in and who didn't. Anna decided not to waste time here, to go home. And what happened a few months after that was very important and very hasty. "Where's Mom?" Woke up in the morning, and Anna asked her father. She had gone to the woods, her father told her. "I wonder why she didn't invite me along." The girl liked to ride with her mother so much, and now she was surprised she wasn't with her. "Come on, she probably decided to be alone," the man shrugged. The mother didn't come home until evening. No one understood what had happened. "Maybe we should call the hospital," Anna suggested. "Well, call, yes. Maybe just with girlfriends gathered, waved away from his daughter's father." Anna dialed the number of the hospital, gave her name, surname, and patronymic. She was told that such a patient had indeed been admitted before lunch today. Anna hung up the phone, looked at her father, and he looked at her too. "Mom is in the hospital," she said. "So why are we standing here? We have to go," he said quickly, and went to his room to get dressed. They were at the hospital in a few minutes. It turned out that when the woman came out of the forest and wanted to take the bus home, she was standing at the bus stop. A daredevil was passing by and drove at full speed into the bus stop, thus hitting the people who were standing there. Anna's mother and 2 other women were badly hurt. "Doctor, what's wrong with her?" A girl approached the doctor. "I can't give any prognosis. She has severe injuries. I'm afraid she won't live till morning." He didn't deceive her. The father heard all the same, and when Anna came to him, he looked at her, and as if he would begin to choke. "Papa, What's the matter with you? She couldn't understand. I don't know. Get some water. Everything in my chest felt as if it was congested. I started to feel very dizzy and headache. He spoke slowly. Anna quickly ran to the doctor. The man was taken to a room, put on a bed, put some kind of drip. Now he was in the hospital too. The girl didn't know what to do. She went from one room to another and just prayed. Mom was gone at 5 in the morning. It was very sad and painful. Why did it happen to me? The girl sat crying in the corridor. She did not understand how just like that, in one day could go away a man who even yesterday welcomed her home and treated her with delicious cakes. Now she had to attend to the funeral and also to go and find out whether she had been admitted or not. But she didn't care about that anymore. Now she was running from home to the hospital and back, trying to keep at least her father, who had had a stroke, healthy. Daddy, please get well. She sat by his bedside and held his hand. Dad was paralyzed on his right side. He wasn't speaking well, looking at his daughter. He seemed to be on the mend. At one point he looked at his daughter and asked how Mom was. She hadn't told him anything yet. Dad, don't worry. Everything will be fine. You and I will live together. The father's pupils dilated. He squeezed his daughter's hand and closed his eyes. Doctor. She ran out into the corridor. The doctors quickly came to the room, but they couldn't do anything. God, how will I live on? The girl clutched her head. She realized that now it was necessary to organize another funeral. Her father had outlived her mother by only a few weeks. She was sitting in the cemetery now, 2 graves in front of her, covered with flowers. Natalie was beside her. Girlfriend, don't worry, we're always here for you. We'll always support you, she told her. You understand, I was orphaned. Because of some daredevil, I lost my mother and father, who seemed to be quite healthy, and nothing foreshadowed that something would happen to them. The girl did not understand. Why didn't you go to the institute? Natalie asked her. What are you talking about? What institute? She looked at the monuments again. Now she had to think about what to do next. There were no plans in her head. And suddenly, at the beginning of September, love came to Anna. She didn't expect it at all, and she didn't wait for it, and she didn't plan it. Everything turned out very accidentally. So suddenly that the girl herself could not understand how it was possible. Mike had just come from the army. He was tall, handsome, slender. Anna, when she first saw him, immediately realized that he would be with her. Anna, hi, come visit. Natalie called her. What are you doing here? She didn't understand. It was probably the second weekend of the beginning of the school year. My girlfriend wasn't supposed to be here. Well, it so happened that I met a young man, and so now we are together here at my parents' place, she said. Okay, I'll be right there, Anna said, and started to get dressed. She didn't really feel like going there, but since she and Natalie hadn't seen each other in a long time, she decided to go and talk for a while. When Anna arrived, she saw that not only Natalie and her friend were sitting at the table, but also some other young man and the girl's parents. Oh, so you're having a party, she said, embarrassed. Come in and I'll introduce you to everyone. A friend said to her. Well, you don't need to meet everyone. I know you and your parents. Anna tried to make a joke. Okay, that's enough. Meet Harvey, my boyfriend, Natalie told her. And this is Mike, his friend. When the girlfriend pointed to the second guy, and that was it, Anna saw him and realized she was missing. And Mike, too. When he saw the girl, he liked her. Already that evening, he was going to see her off. Do you live in the same town as Harvey? Anna asked him. Well, yes, we came together because we've been friends since childhood, and since I'd just gotten out of the army, he decided to bring me along, he told her. I see, she answered sadly. Why are you sad? The young man didn't understand. Well, today you will see me off, tomorrow you will leave again, and we will never see each other again, she told him. Why not see each other? You can come to our city. I can stay here, he said slowly. But it's too early to talk about that, Anna laughed. They reached her house. She invited the guy to come over for a visit. Would it be convenient? He asked her. Of course. Why would it be inconvenient? Because I live alone, she told him. Ah, well then, let's go. He went to the entrance to open the doors for her. They came in. The girl poured tea. They sat at the table and like two fools looked at each other. Why are you looking at me like that? She asked him. I like you, he answered her. And you to me. She did not hide anything. I never thought that things could happen so quickly between a man and a woman, Mike said. You know, I graduated from college this year, and after that I wanted to go on to higher education. But when I got there, my mom died in an accident, and my dad's heart gave out too. When I buried them, I didn't think about any studies anymore. She stopped talking. If it's hard for you, you don't have to tell me. He took her hand. No, that's not what I wanted to say. It all happened so fast. Now I was thinking about what to do, and then you show up on the horizon, tell me you like me. And how do I know it's true? You just got back from the army. You missed girls. She smiled. Well, you know, if you don't believe me, I can just get up and leave, he told her. No, come on, These are my musings out loud, Anna said. She didn't want him to leave now. They sat for a while and Mike left, because he had to go. The next day, Anna knew that Natalie had to leave. Accordingly, Harvey and Mike were going too. At first, she was going to go to the train station to see them off, but at the last moment, she stopped and thought that they could still call or meet some other way. And now it would be very sad to see off the man she had liked only yesterday. So she did, and just stayed home. The girl drew herself a bath, lay in it, relaxed. There were different thoughts in her head. She thought about him, and what they could have had, and in general about everything else. Anna had a towel on her head. She put on a robe, went to the kitchen, put the kettle on the stove. At that moment, there was a knock on the door. She was surprised, went to open it. On the threshold stood Mike, holding flowers in his hands. Hello, she said to him. Hello, he handed her the bouquet. Why didn't you leave? She was surprised. Here, I decided to try my luck. If you let me stay, if you don't let me stay, I'll leave tomorrow, he told her calmly. The girl looked at him. He was so handsome, so well-spoken, that she could not resist all this charm. Of course, she let him in. Then remembering what she was in now, she smiled. What are you doing? He asked her. Remembered the look I'm seeing you in, she smiled again. And what? It's even better, natural beauty. He touched the tip of her nose. Since the kettle was already boiling, they decided to have tea, and again they sat in the kitchen, looking at each other. I'm sorry to burst in on you like this, but I really like you so much that I'm ready to propose to you today, and wait for you to agree, he told her. Mike, you're cute. I really like you. You say such beautiful words, but I suggest you take your time. Let's live together for a while. I'm even ready to leave you here in my apartment, just to get to know each other better, she said. What are you? Of course, I agree. Don't think. I have a place to live too. We can go to that city if you want. He thought that she could take this information differently. The very next day, the young man went to look for a job. He, when he got home in the evening, said he could go to work at a local factory or as a car mechanic in a private garage. What do you like better? Anna asked him. I don't know, but if I go to a garage, there can be various hack jobs and more chances to earn, he told her. Well, where you like, there and go, she answered the young man, and it was very pleasant. Anna herself also found a job, even though the pay was not very much, but it suited both of them. Now they had enough for rent and groceries, and there was still a decent amount left. On New Year's Eve, Natalie and Harvey arrived. Harvey knew that Mike had stayed in the city, but he didn't know why, and Anna hadn't told her friend anything. This is where you quiet ones come in. Friends came to visit them. Today was the holiday itself, so they were going to celebrate it cheerfully. That's it, we're going to be family friends now, said Harvey. So, I have one condition to you, said Natalie, until the summer, that the wedding is not even planned. What? They won't let you go if we play it in some other month? Mike asked her. Why would you want it to be cold in the winter or slushy in the spring? Summer is perfect. I'll go on vacation. Harvey and I will come. It's great. He's a witness. I'm a witness. Natalie, as if she already knew what was going to happen next. Girlfriend, you're so funny. Anna laughed. Mike hasn't even proposed to me yet, and you already know when we're getting married, who the witness is, maybe where we're going to have it. Everything would be fine, Natalie was sure. This New Year's Eve had been wonderful. Natalie with Harvey, Anna with Mike. And they didn't expect a knock on the door half an hour before the chimes. Who could it be? Anna looked at her friends. I don't know, I'll open the door. Let's see, it's New Year's Eve. Who knows who came to congratulate you, Natalie said. When they opened the door, they saw Andrew and Cindy, their classmates. Where are you from? Natalie was happy. What did you think? That you were going to get rid of us for New Year's Eve and spend it alone? Andrew took Cindy by the waist and they went into the apartment. Oh, even so, the girl said after them and winked at her friend. There were more people at the table now. The champagne was poured into glasses. The wished ones made a wish. Everyone pumped hurrah and drank. It's so good, said Mike, when practically at dawn, everyone dispersed. Yes, we make great friends, Anna confirmed. So, will you marry me? He asked her. Well, of course, still waiting until summer, so you can now give your consent, and there further we'll see what happens. Until this moment, the young man did not give a single reason to doubt him. They worked, planned how and what they would do for the wedding, remembered about friends who again went away to study. How many children do you want? Mike asked Anna once. I don't know, at least one. She looked him in the eyes. I really want a baby girl, a girl, said her future fiancé. The girl only smiled, because she too had always dreamed of a daughter. In May, while Natalie was taking exams, Anna went shopping and chose a dress. She didn't want a noisy wedding, but she didn't want a modest one either. She saved money to buy a good dress. Everything was bought, and when Natalie arrived, the young people went to the registry office and filed an application. The wedding was scheduled for mid-August. Natalie, you are so beautiful, Anna told her. And you are happy, Anna whispered back. What's that all of a sudden? She didn't understand, because Natalie and Harvey were still together. Why does she say that? Because you've been asked to marry and I haven't, she said snidely. Don't be jealous, you'll get there in time, you're still studying. So don't even think about it, she told her. The next day there was to be a celebration, and the girls were preparing for it. When Anna put on her dress, Natalie looked at her with an admiring gaze. What are you doing? Her friend turned to her. Anna, you look so beautiful. She looked at her, walked over and gave her a hug. Thank you, girlfriend, for always being there for me, the bride thanked her. She was completely ready now. They heard cars honking outside the window. It was Mike and his friends. Are you ready to be a wife? Natalie asked her. I don't know, but I think I am, laughed Anna. The friend held a small ransom. After that, they got into cars, went to the registry office, and then, all as usual, rides, restaurant, and a party until morning. My wife, come here. Mike pulled her to him. Man, that's a grown-up word. I don't like it, she told him. But now you have status. He laughed at her. Anna kept thinking that maybe now, when everything is settled, she will be able to enter. And while her husband is working and earning money, she will study, get a diploma, at least by correspondence. But while she was thinking, the time of entrance exams was missed, and she again flew like a plywood over Paris. Look, maybe it's really not your thing, her husband told her. Yes, I was already thinking about that too, she sat sad. Don't be sad. He came over and gave her a hug and a kiss. You're so good, she snuggled up to Mike. Everything was good in their family. They were like two best friends. They could just go for a walk in the evening, meet up with friends, just sit and watch a movie. Mike liked to surprise the girl. He arranged surprises for her almost every day. And let's go to Harvey and Natalie, Anna said to her husband. Will you get a vacation? He asked. What if we leave Friday night and come back Sunday? She asked. Also an option, even if not for long, but we will see each other. Mike agreed with her. So they did. The young people trusted each other. No one was jealous. There were hardly any quarrels in the family. Everything was fine from that. In the summer, they all planned a trip to the sea with their friends. Andrew and Hope were also with them. When they arrived at their friend's house, Natalie was very happy to see her. The girls hugged each other. I have great news for you, Natalie whispered in Anna's ear. Tell me, she pulled away from her. Harvey proposed to me, she said in a whisper, putting her finger to her lips. What's the secrecy? She didn't understand. He told me about it last night, but he hasn't made it official yet. I think we'll get together at the table today when you arrive and discuss it together, she said. Oh, Natalie, I congratulate you. They hugged once more. In the evening, indeed, when everyone was sitting around the table, it was very nice. Harvey stood up, coughed. Then he took out a ring, put it in front of Natalie. Do you want to spend the rest of your life with me? He asked her. Of course, darling. I've been waiting for this for a long time. She stood up, hugged him and kissed him. Oh, I'm so glad. Anna clapped her hands. Well, we should drink to that. Mike poured champagne into glasses. They were happy for their friends. After that they sat for a long time, talking about family life, what and how it happens. Right after they went to the sea, Harvey and Natalie got married. They decided to stay living in the city where Harvey lives, so the girlfriends were upset that they would see each other less often. When the vacation, the wedding, everything was behind them. Anna went back to work. Mike was working too. One fine morning, the girl felt very sick. She turned to her husband, pushed him in the side. What are you doing? He turned away from her. Mike, I think that you and I will soon become parents, she told him. I don't get it. Did you dream this today? He looked at her surprised. I'm dizzy and nauseous, Anna smiled. You know, maybe you ate something unpalatable last night, and that's what made you sick. He got up from the bed and spread his hands. Yes, it's not checked yet, but I hope so, Anna smiled. Then she went to work. On the way she went to the pharmacy. She sat up till evening to come and check it out. Knew she should do it in the morning, but she couldn't wait to see. And yes, she saw the two long-awaited scarlet stripes. Now she was waiting for her husband to come home from work to tell him about it. He came in, dinner was ready. They sat down in the kitchen, and while he ate, she stood by the window because she couldn't smell the soup. Look, she put that strip on the table. Anna, no way. He stood up, kissed her. You, don't kiss me. You smell like soup. I can't. She pulled him away. What do you mean? I can't even kiss you now, he told her. Well, why can't you? You can. Only when you don't eat soup, she laughed and went to her room. If everything was good in their family before, it was even better now. The husband was affectionate, perfect. In the mornings, he would make her green tea without sugar. When she came home from work, he would try to either pick her up or come early to give her some kind of surprise. But when it was the last 2 months, it was unbearable. I can't carry this belly anymore, Anna complained. Love, if I could help you, I'd wear it myself, he said. Mike could see she was really getting tired. She couldn't wait for the deadline to come. She couldn't wait. And when the due date actually came, Anna was in the hospital. She had the baby, and Mike was running around outside her window. He'd bought some stuffed toys and was running around congratulating his wife. Everything was rosy. He kept calling and writing, still congratulating her. Anna read the messages, tears running from her eyes. The couple had a baby girl who was named Selena. When Anna texted that they were being discharged, Mike rushed over on wings of happiness. He picked up his girls and took them home. "I've done some cooking here," he told her. Anna walked into the apartment, saw the balloons, the crib. It was nice, and even though there was no more room in one room, but in tight quarters, not in a fence, she thought. Now, if she thought it was hard to walk with a belly, there were times when it was even harder. "Jeanne, well, help me at least a little," she asked her husband. "I can't. I have work," he answered her. In general, lately he was often late, and Anna began to notice the smell of alcohol from him. Once she put Selena to bed, she went to the kitchen and called her husband. "What else?" He came there. "Let's talk," Anna asked him. "About what?" he said tiredly. "Don't you notice something has changed in our family?" the girl asked him. "I notice. Your child is always yelling. You in a stretched robe, wash your hair once a week. I completely stopped cooking," he reproached her. "First of all, not my child, but ours. Secondly, I can go in a dress, but it's not very comfortable. And thirdly, why should I cook for someone if you come at midnight?" Now she told him her claims. "Anna, I don't want to listen to this. I want to sleep. I'm very tired." He wanted to leave the kitchen. "Are you very tired? You come home at 2 o'clock in the morning, you stink like a stranger, then you sleep until lunchtime, get up and go to your job again. I don't see that you overworked or brought in twice as much money as usual." Anna actually shouted, but she did it in a half-whisper so that the child wouldn't wake up. "Yes, what have you done for our family?" He sat down on a stool and folded his arms across his chest. I have to do something. I gave birth to your child." At this point, she couldn't stand it and cried. "Well, let me stay with the baby and you go to work," he told her. "And what, you'll breastfeed him?" His wife got up and went to the window. "If I have to, I'll feed him." He didn't give in to her at all. "What happened to us?" She looked at the one who a few months ago was ready to carry her in his arms. "I don't know, I'm sick of it all. These screams at night, I can't listen to them anymore," sighed Mike. After that, he started to stay at work even longer. He might not come home at night at all. "Hi, friend." Anna called Natalie. "Oh, Anna, I haven't heard from you for a long time. How are you doing? How is Selena growing up?" asked Natalie. "No way. She told me what happened in their family. He was such a good family man. How could this happen?" She couldn't understand. "Here, imagine, happened," said a tired voice. "Anna, I don't envy you." Natalie sighed and didn't know what to say next. Anna realized that she was only distracting her friend with her problems. It had been a long time since they had met with their classmates. Anna and Mike had more and more problems. Now they were fighting almost every day on nothing. He began to stay late at work. Now already with friends they could drink there. One day, they all came home together. "What are you doing?" "We have a small child," Anna told him. "And what? I can't sit with my friends now," he answered her in a drunken voice. "You can sit with friends, but not in our one-room apartment," she told him reproachfully. "So stay in your one-room apartment." He left and slammed the door. "Okay, and you go." She stood by the door and cried to her heart's content. Selena was just over a year old at the time. And a couple days later, Anna got a call that her husband had been in a car accident. She and her friends decided to celebrate some event, went to a friend's house in the village. Apparently, they're added, and on the way back, the driver did not cope with the control. All 3 of them died on the spot. "What on earth is going on in my life?" Anna said as she pressed disconnect. She called Natalie to tell Harvey what had happened, and she in turn called Andrew and hoped to support Anna. And now, as they all stood in the cemetery near the grave, Anna was crying and Natalie was pressing her lips together. I never thought we'd have to meet like this here, she said. Yes, I wasn't happy for long, Anna said quietly. Nothing, friend. Don't get upset. We are there for you. We will always support you. We will always help you, her friend said. I don't doubt it. It's just, how could he turn from such a happy and caring person into the kind of person he had been lately? They gathered. Now they were on their way to Anna's house. Selina was sitting with a neighbor. She was picked up now. The table was set. They sat down. Everyone was silent. Mike was a good guy anyway. Maybe having a baby had done something to him. He couldn't handle all the psychological stuff. Harvey was the first to speak. He poured everyone a drink. They drank in silence. Okay, guys, thank you for your support, Anna told them, and walked them to the door. She went to the kitchen, sat down at the table and cried. It was very painful and sad. Now she did not understand how to live further, what to do, how to pay for the apartment, where to get money. The money she received would not be enough for anything, and her daughter had to be fed and clothed. Anna made a decision. It was necessary to go to the doctor, to take a certificate to send her daughter to kindergarten. So she did. At first she was refused, but due to the situation, the girl was allowed to go to kindergarten 3 months earlier than the prescribed period. But this changed practically nothing. The salary that was paid to Anna all went to the apartment on the debts that Mike left. Even when she took out a survivor's benefit, that didn't save her. She had to take an extra job, and it completely exhausted the girl. She was working her ass off, but she still didn't have enough for anything. Maybe you're just hung up on the money, Natalie told her as they talked. Selina's growing by leaps and bounds. Now she's still in kindergarten. She has to buy clothes, bows, tights, socks. You know how expensive it all is. Again, the washing machine on credit, I already. And so, myself nothing to buy. All only on Selena spend, complained Anna. Friends, both Mike's and hers, helped in any way they could. Some with vegetables from the garden, some with money. Clothes that were left over from their children. The girl was grateful to everyone. When she and Selena were walking from kindergarten, they went to the store to buy bread, and the girl saw that there were some chocolates, candies or something else at the cash register. She would ask her mom, and her mom would get tears in her eyes because she couldn't afford it. Natalie and her husband would come once a month. That's when Selena had a party. They'd bring all kinds of goodies, so the girl would have a feast. She could still stash something to save for later. Sometimes at night, Anna would sit in the kitchen and talk to Mike, looking at his picture. Why did you propose to me? Why did you want to have a baby? Why did you want to have a baby so that everything would turn out like this and you'd leave me alone? She looked at his picture, but there was no going back now. Sometimes she just wanted to talk, but she didn't know who to talk to. It seemed to her that her friend was fed up with her, that she couldn't listen to her anymore. The girl had lost so much weight that she didn't have normal clothes. She wore old ones that were 2 sizes too big. It was embarrassing, but she couldn't afford anything. Hello, Anna. A neighbor greeted her on the landing. Hello, she was always polite. What's wrong with you? Look at you. The wind will blow you away soon, she told her. Nothing. Everything's fine. The girl didn't know what to say. She lived her quiet life and did not want anyone to interfere with her. One day, Anna came home from work, took Selena from kindergarten, and they went home. Mommy, can we go to the store? The girl looked at her. No, little girl, we can't go into the store yet, her mom told her. Like so many times before they had walked past a brightly colored storefront, Selena only looked in there and nothing else. They walked into the entryway, and as they passed the mailboxes, Anna saw something lying in them. I wonder what it could be. I don't subscribe to any newspapers, and nobody writes letters nowadays. She turned as if to her daughter, but she stood looking at her with surprised eyes. The girl took out the envelope and looked at what was written there. Her address was indeed written, but from whom the letter was not specified. Selena, an anonymous person is writing to us, She laughed and put the letter in her bag. They went up to the house, undressed, went to the room. Mom was preparing dinner and everything else. After that, the girl was bathed, and when Selene fell asleep, the mother went to the kitchen again. She made herself some herbal tea, sat down at the table, and then she remembered about the envelope. She went to the hallway, took it out of her bag, brought it back, sat down at the table again. When she printed it out, she saw that it was a real handwritten letter. She was very surprised at this. Who could have written to her? "Hello, my beloved Anna. I decided to write you this letter only now because I didn't know how you would have reacted to all this before. I have loved you all my life, followed your movements. I knew that I got married, had a child, and now you are in a difficult situation." She ran her eyes over the lines, and then it was written that this stranger wants to help her. He has money now, and he sends her a certain amount of money. You just need to come to the post office and receive the transfer. What is this? What kind of well-wisher is this? She furrowed her eyebrows. At that moment, Anna held the letter in one hand, the envelope in the other, and it hit her. There should be a postmark on the envelope. She looked. The letter came from New York. But who was it from? She said aloud. No matter how much she thought back, she couldn't remember anyone from that city. Natalie, hi, awake? She called her friend. No, what's wrong? She asked. Listen. She told her about what happened today. Anna, run to the post office and get the money, she laughed. Maybe it's a scam. Anna suggested it. It could be. It's not hard to check. No one will grab you at the post office and take you anywhere, Natalie laughed. Do you really think I should go? Anna asked her. Of course you should go. No one would give you a punch, her friend persuaded her. They talked a little more with her friend, and then they both dropped the call. Anna went to bed because she had to get up early tomorrow. She lay on the bed and could not forget what was written in the letter. She wondered who could have written it. The next day she excused herself from work and actually went to the post office. Hello, she went to the window. Good afternoon, how can I help you? The girl asked. There I should receive a transfer. Anna gave her a passport. When she checked everything, Anna saw that the girl's eyes got a little bigger. Yes, indeed, you have a transfer. The girl nodded her head. Good, I'd like to get it. Anna didn't even realize how much there was. She was used to always having to achieve everything on her own. She had never had anyone to help her. She stood and waited while the girl did something. The woman typed something at first, then got up and went to bring the director, apparently. Yes, everything is fine, the woman confirmed and looked at Anna. Here, please, sign here. The girl gave her some paper. Anna did everything and stood there thinking that she had lost so much time for some pennies. But when the girl handed her a package of small bills, her eyes went to her forehead. She looked at this pile of money and couldn't believe that such a thing could still happen. No, it's okay. The girl smiled, probably jealous of Anna. She decided that she wouldn't go to work again today. While Selena was at daycare, she needed to count everything and hide it all. Anna went home. There she counted. It turned out she had $1 million in her hands. I don't understand anything. She looked surprised at the bills. She wanted to call Natalie, but Anna wouldn't do it now. She went to the daycare center to pick up her daughter. Now there was only one thought in her head. Who could send her so much money? At first, she thought that Mike could have left the money somehow, and now it was given to her. That's why there was no return address. But again, she compared everything to the debts he had left. They weren't very big. Why hadn't he paid them back then? What on earth was Anna thinking? When she and Selena were already at home, she decided to call Natalie and tell her what had happened. Wow, she was surprised when she found out how much money her friend had gotten. Who could have sent me so much? She answered quietly. Well, let's remember together. Who could be in New York? She told her. I've already tried everyone. I have no acquaintances there at all, Anna thought. Well, I don't remember anything either. Natalie was silent for a few minutes. Both of them didn't know what to say. That was the end of the conversation. Anna hid the money away so that if it turned out to be a mistake, she could get it back. She realized that all sorts of things happen in life, and if that happened, she would have nowhere to take that much. Anna, hi. Her phone rang. She answered it. It was Andrew, who they hadn't seen for a long time either. Hi, she told him in a friendly way. Cindy and I are flying to New York. Would you and Selena like to keep us company? He asked. But before the girl could say anything, she just wondered if there was a lot of news related to this city lately. No, don't think. I'll take care of all the expenses, her friend told her quickly. No, Andrew, we're not going. She smiled to herself in her reflection as she stood in front of the mirror. All right, suit yourself. Cindy sends her regards to you. The classmate disconnected, and Anna was alone with her thoughts again. She put all thoughts out of her mind because that stranger never contacted her again. He did not call, did not threaten, did not write more. Then what was there to think about him to her? Anna continued to work. Nothing changed in her life. A week or so passed. Andrew called again. This time he was gibbering into the phone. It was incomprehensible. What's wrong? Anna was worried about her friend. We urgently need to meet. You have no idea what news we have, he said very loudly. Calm down. Let's go through everything in order. Anna didn't want to take off from work just like that. Okay, come on. I don't know if I will live to see the evening with this news. Come home soon, he said it, and that was it. Then silence. Now Anna was in shock and incomprehension of what was happening in her life. She was like on pins and needles, and when it was the end of the working day, she did not say goodbye to anyone for a long time, just went out and headed towards the kindergarten. Mommy, hi. The girl was old enough to know what was going on. She didn't ask for anything now. They just walked past everyone turned in for home. Andrew was sitting in the car with Hope. They were waiting for Anna. Even so, she approached the car with surprise. Yep, the friend's eyes were burning. It was obvious that he had some news. Now, if Andrew knew about the letter and the money, the girl would have realized that he had found out something like that and wanted to bring it to her. But he didn't know anything about it. So what then? Let's go. Let's sit here. Anna did not delay the moment when she would find out what Andrew wanted to tell her. They went to the entrance. When they were in the apartment, the hostess offered to pour tea or coffee for everyone. The friends agreed. Yes, let's have tea. The classmate nodded his head. They settled into the room. While the hostess was in the kitchen, the friends treated Selena with what they had brought her as a gift. What only there was not there, the girl was very happy about these gifts. When Anna came in, she put the cups on the table and Andrew pulled out some treats that were also brought as souvenirs. Well, don't be long, she looked at him. Guess who we met in the capital of culture? He looked at the girl. Tony the First. Anna waved her hands. She couldn't even guess. Come on, I'm serious, he frowned. Good, Natalie's with Harvey, she thought. Her friend might not have told her that and left, though I doubt it. No, still, it's getting warmer, Andrew said and smiled. Warmer what? She'd frowned again. Okay, I won't torture you, he laughed and took a sip of tea. Jesus, Andrew, you've always been like this. Enough already. Either talk or don't say anything. Anna waved her hand at him. Okay, I'll tell you now. It's just impossible to believe, he said. We came to the capital of culture, walking, visiting various museums. We see that today there is some kind of holiday, and on the open area we'll congratulate the railroad workers, and not just like that, and various celebrities came. Well, we couldn't miss it, so we went there in the evening. Andrew began to tell us. Anna saw that Cindy was also looking at him at that moment. She wanted to say something too, but she didn't dare to interrupt him. Okay, Anna listened attentively. On the stage, there is some kind of awards ceremony. Different people come out, they hand out certificates, diplomas, then a song is played as a gift. And then, Tony appears on the stage. He had already taken more air to continue. Our Tony. Anna interrupted him, her heart beating faster in her chest. Yeah, you know, Andrew was savoring that information. Well, what happened next? It got more interesting now. No, he wasn't the one being honored. He was giving the award to someone. Of course, we couldn't help but meet him, a classmate we hadn't seen in so long. He stopped talking again. Andrew, Cindy stepped in. You're taking so long to tell us. It could be heartbreaking. We found him. We waited for him. He was very happy to see us, he continued. And what? How is he? According to the story, it seems that he is doing well. Anna looked questioningly at the couple. We exchanged phone numbers. He invited us to visit him the next day, but we had a flight, and we were shy. Andrew shrugged his shoulders. Wow, who would have thought it? Anna thought. She was sitting on a chair, looking out the window, and remembered the last time they had seen Tony. The guests sat for a while longer, told a couple more stories, and then they realized it was getting late. The kid had to go to preschool tomorrow, so they excused themselves. Bye, Cole. Don't forget, the hostess saw them off. She went to wash the dishes, and she herself could not get out of her head what her friend had told her today. She put her daughter to bed and sat thinking. What if it was him? She remembered the letter. Everything was coming together. I loved, followed, knew. Now I am rich. She sat and thought in her head. So, Anna got up from the chair, went to the room, poured in the drawer where there were different notebooks, textbooks. She found one, opened it, went and took the letter, compared the handwriting. It seemed similar. Tony had written it for her then, she thought. At that moment, she wanted to call Natalie for advice, but it was too late, so she decided to put it off until tomorrow. She went to bed, lay down so she wouldn't have dark circles under her eyes tomorrow. But sleep did not come. She remembered every line of the letter. The girl decided that tomorrow she should call Andrew and get Tony's phone number from him. Good night, she wished herself and her daughter. In the morning she got up, squinting at the phone, but it was early now. Anna decided that now, when she got to work, she would definitely call in an hour. But while she started Selena, she came to work. She got wrapped up, spun around, forgot. I didn't remember until lunchtime, dialed my classmate's number. Andrew, hi. Sorry if I'm distracting you, she started quickly. It's okay, he was listening to her. You said yesterday that Tony gave you a phone number. Could you dictate it to me? Anna asked, and she thought that now he would take it and not give it to her. I'll give it to him. He was surprised. Everyone knew she had been in contact with him, and she liked him more than a friend. After the conversation was over, Anna immediately dialed another number she knew by heart. Hi, she said cheerfully to her friend. Hi, why now and not tonight? Natalie wondered. There is news, Anna said cryptically. That's it, she was intrigued. Tell me, she couldn't stand it anymore. Yeah, you should know how intrigued I was by Andrew yesterday, Anna remembered. She told everything she had learned from her classmate and her assumptions. Oh my God, a whole detective story. Her friend said it into the phone. Do you think I should call? At that moment, there was a message from Andrew with a number. Call, even if it's not him, just to talk, Natalie said. I was thinking the same thing. Anna was glad her friend was supportive. Of course, she couldn't do that right now because she was afraid she might tear the man away from some important business. She decided that she would do everything in the evening. They came home. Anna told her daughter that she had an urgent matter, went to the kitchen, covered the doors. Hello, she heard. Tony, hello, she said in reply. Anna, he recognized her immediately too, but there was so much surprise in his voice that it just had to be heard. Yeah, Andrew gave me your number, I confessed. Okay, what did you want? He asked her a question. Why did you send me that money? She had thought about this conversation for a long time. She decided to speak straight to the forehead, so that it would be unexpected. How did you know? He fell into her trap. Because I'm smart, laughed the girl. I found out that you were sick, so I sent you. Tony did not hide it. Thanks, but you didn't have to, she told him, while she enjoyed the conversation. She remembered how she felt about him, and it felt good. Anna, come, he called her. What do you mean? The girl didn't understand. Just get on a train or plane, I'll pay for everything. Just come, he asked her. Okay, I need to think. She didn't know what to say. And what to think. Your daughter, at least in the kindergarten, even in school, will be a place you two will not suffer, he continued to persuade. Okay, Tony, I promise I'll think about it. It was nice for her to talk to this man. Okay, I expect your call soon, they said their goodbyes. After she put the phone aside, there was some tenderness inside that she felt then for this boy. She dialed Natasha's number again. Pack your things and go, she told her. Do you think so? Anna hesitated. I don't think, but I know. What will you lose? Your job for pennies? If something goes wrong, you can always come back, a friend told her. Would you go? Anna asked her one last question. Yes, I think that if something like that happened to me, I would be there already, laughed the girl on the other end of the phone. After that, Anna called Andrew and Cindy, told them everything, consulted them. They also approved the trip. Selena, let's go visit Uncle Tony. She came into her room. It would be an adventure, she clapped her hands. Then I'll make a call and we'll start packing. If Anna had known that this trip would turn her life upside down, she would never have gone. Tony, I've decided. We're ready to come, she told him the next day. Okay, as soon as I book the tickets I'll call you, he promised. Anna was worried, but as she lived now, she thought it would be better, and so really, we'll go just to visit, see a friend, and come back. And she wanted to give him the money. She packed her few belongings. At work, she wrote a letter of resignation. She and her daughter were ready. Tony called a couple days later, and she and Selena were at the airport. Mummy, isn't it scary flying? Her daughter pestered her. No, she calmed the girl, but she herself was very worried about what would happen next. They flew very quickly. They were welcomed. When they got into an expensive car, Anna was speechless. Then they brought them to a huge house. Anna, Tony came out to meet her. He was no longer the man she knew. Now the childhood friend looked very solid. He was wearing an expensive suit, and everything else looked good too. Tony, so uncomfortable, she was embarrassed. It's okay, let's go inside. He looked at Selena, smiling. Are we going to live in this house now? She at the little girl. We'll see, quietly, pulled her mother back. Now, as she walked beside her classmate, it seemed to her that they had switched roles. Now she was the ragged girl, in old and crumpled clothes, as he had once been. Inside, as you could guess, everything was swanky too. They walked through. Tony seated them at the table. Immediately the woman who was in the apron started setting up. Thank you, nodded the owner of the house to her. So, tell me about your life, Anna asked first, because she didn't want him to ask that question first. Oh, you know how things can change in an instant if you're in the right place at the right time, he winked at Selena. I take it none of this is to your credit? She looked around. Of course, how could I have done all this in such a short time? He laughed. Let's take it in order then. She wanted to hear the story from the moment he left school then. Well, that his mother drank because his father left her, you probably know. He looked at her, such sadness or even pain in his eyes. Yeah, the whole town was talking about it, she nodded. So, after graduation, Tony announced to his father that he was leaving to go to college in another city. He did. No one even went with him. He got into a railroad college, moved into a dormitory. Now it was easier. because there was no unfortunate divorcee Maria around, and he could not be taken to the orphanage from his mother. Hi. Practically in the first month he met Nina, she studied there too. Tony, the young man immediately introduced himself. She said her name too. Let's go for a walk tonight, suggested the girl herself. Good, rejoiced Tony, that in such a short time he had a friend. Good, he agreed. He wanted to get to know her better. In the evening, Wanda told him about her family. Their stories were similar in some ways. She was from a small village. Her parents worked at first, but then her mother died and her father started drinking. So she came here to study. After her story, the guy decided to tell her his story. It turned out to be two soulmates. Tony and Wanda began to be friends and then to live together. At first, everything was fine. Maybe it just seemed that way. Then Tony came home. Wanda had set the table and there was a bottle. What's the occasion? He didn't understand. I just wanted to make you happy, she smiled. But let's not do that. He took the bottle off the table. Why? She didn't understand. Just don't. That's all, he said seriously. Okay, she put it away in the closet. At the table, Tony looked for a long time and then suddenly smiled, took something out of his pocket, put it in front of the girl. She looked at the gold jewelry and could not believe that the young man was proposing to her. He kissed her hand and put the ring on her finger. I agree, she closed her eyes. Then they just went to the registry office, got married, went on with their studies. But at some point, Wanda got addicted to alcohol. Tony didn't even realize it. And then he could sit in front of the TV with a beer. But even though he drank, he was a great student. He just loved what they taught here. When they were in their senior year, people who could get them jobs or advance their studies came to visit. Wanda, I was offered to go to New York to get a job there, he told her cheerfully. So what? She was jealous of him. She was under the fly again. It reminded the guy of his mother. Nothing, I'll go alone. He had already decided everything for himself. Ever since he was a kid, he wanted to get out of this poverty and everything else. What about me? She sat with her back to him and didn't look at him. And you, if you don't change anything, you'll stay cleaning the local station. Now she was moonlighting there. Good, she took it straight from the bottle. And Tony passed his exams and went to what he thought was his blue dream. And here he is in New York for the first time. Everything's interesting. Arrived at the address, filed all the paperwork. It was very nice the way people were treated here. He settled in. He couldn't have dreamed of anything better. Tony, today is a banquet in honor of young professionals who have recently arrived. One of those who came to work here, as well as he did, told him. Good, the man agreed. You had to be on the lookout to be known. Today he was getting ready. He still had the same pants and shirt his father had bought him for his graduation. They were a little tight, but there were no other options. Tony came in, a little embarrassed. It was a large room. There were appetizers on the table, and someone was performing on the stage. And then they were announced that they, the honor students, were here to work. It was nice. Hello, a girl came up to him. It was obvious that she was older than the young man, but so far no one cared. Hello, he looked around and wondered what she wanted. Shall we dance? She touched his arm. I don't know. The guy was confused now. Let's go, she pulled him along. They moved to the beat of the music in the center of the hall. There were a couple of other couples here, no one else dancing. My name is Martha, she said in his ear. Tony, he realized she already knew that, but he introduced himself anyway. You're so handsome, she kept whispering to him, and he didn't understand why she was coming on to him. Thank you, you too. He was confused and didn't know what to say. What? Who the hell are you? Do I look like an old woman? She pulled away from him. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, he started stuttering. Okay, I'm kidding. She pulled him out of the hall. Where are we going? Tony didn't want to go anywhere. You'll see. They walked to the car. She showed him to get in. Wow, the guy whistled. He got in the front seat. Martha took the wheel. They drove off. Tony, I don't know what you magnetized me with, but I really liked you. She turned to him. They arrived somewhere. It was beautiful. Martha stopped, got out of the car. Tony did the same. She came right up to him. You must think some crazy aunt, she laughed. No. Why? He saw that the girl was a little cold, and he put his arm around her. And at that moment, she clung to him as if she had missed that warmth all her life. Are you coming to my place tonight? Martha asked. I don't know. He was at a loss again. Don't worry. Everything will be fine. Everything was happening so fast. Today the guy was in the woman's apartment. It was something. He looked around there like he was in a museum. Today he slept next to a gorgeous woman on silk sheets, drank freshly squeezed juice in the morning. And although the guy was not mercantile, he realized that if it all came to him on its own, why refuse? I have to go to work, Tony told Martha on Sunday night. What? And where do you work? She asked. When Tony said, she threw her head back and laughed. I don't see anything funny, he told her. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just that I haven't met such truthful and naive people in a long time, she hugged Tony. Understandably, he took some offense. And then Martha's father came to visit. He was a very respectable man. He had his own big business. Daddy, this is Tony and this is John. She introduced them to each other. Nice to meet you. They shook hands. Okay, Martha, you know I don't like you staying here. Pack up. Let's go home. He called them over. They packed up and drove somewhere outside of town. Here before the young man stood a huge house that had been built with his own hands. John was very proud of it. I'm so uncomfortable, he whispered to her. It's okay, be quiet. She put her finger to her lips. Anna sat listening to this story and couldn't believe that her Tony, who was very modest, could pull something like this off. That's how I ended up here. Then Martha said it was time to get married, and I didn't mind. John brought me into his business. I started working for him. I see, she shook her head, a little disgusted. Well, then the worst happened. He looked up at the staircase that led to the second floor. What's that? She shifted her gaze there as well. John had to go into town. Martha volunteered to give him a ride. I don't know what happened there, but the wife didn't control the car. They had a terrible accident. The father-in-law to death, and she permanently laid up. He was looking at Anna now. The wife? She looked at him fearfully. Yes, she is lying in a room on the second floor. After John was gone, everything passed to her, and since she can't, I took over all the reins. He smiled. And you're proud of that. I was getting uncomfortable sitting here. Why? I sent you some money, knowing you wouldn't be able to accept it, and then I wanted to wait for the time to call you, but you see how it turned out, he grinned. What's all this for? She wrinkled her nose. My wife wants me or someone close to me to take care of her. She won't let anyone else in, he told her. Tony. She wanted to tell him that she should have talked about it on the phone, but he put his hand out in front of her to shut her up. Selena was asleep by this point. Look, you take care of Marta. I pay your salary. Your daughter goes to kindergarten or school. I don't know where she goes. Everything's fine, he said as if serfdom hadn't been abolished yet. Well, Anna agreed only for Selena's sake, let her live as a human being for a while. From then on, her life in this house began. She had only occasional contact with Tony, mostly with Marta. Hello, the first time she came into her room. Who are you? She looked at her. My name is Anna. I am your husband's classmate. He invited me to sit with you. Anna began to tell her. You're not lying. She didn't believe me. No, and I didn't come here alone, but with my daughter, she confessed to Marta at once. The landlady didn't know why, but she liked Anna right away. From that moment, they began to communicate a lot. Because the guest did not want to see Tony, She spent a lot of time in the room with Marta. "Tell me about yourself," the landlady asked. "We came from." She began to tell her story, of course, without small details. Wow! At that moment Anna noticed that Martha moved her foot. It couldn't have seemed to her. The girl did almost everything here. The cook did the cooking. Everything else fell on Anna's shoulders. She did everything that needed doing for Martha, and also had to bring Tony's tea, clean his office, and everything else. It was very hard, but she braced herself for Selena. Anna, when she heard Martha calling her, she would run straight to her. What Tony said about her didn't fit her image. "What, you wanted to see me?" She came running up to the second floor. "Yes, sit with me," the landlady asked her. Well, they could talk for hours. "What did you do before?" Martha asked her. "I don't want to answer that question, but can I ask you?" she asked. "Sure," stared at one with her eyes. "Why aren't you in the hospital? I think you can be helped." She herself didn't know why Anna said that. "Tony calls the doctors here. Why go anywhere else?" She didn't understand why Anna was asking that. Okay, the girl still needed to clean up the office, so she did everything here, and off she went. Selena was already in school, or rather, in the lyceum where her driver took her. Anna was happy for her. Tony, as promised, paid her money, but she didn't spend it practically anywhere, so she managed to save. Today, he came home from work later than usual and sat on the couch. "Come, let's talk," he patted the seat next to him. "Tony, why have you gotten like this? I think your jersey could use some help," she said. "What's that like, happy?" He looked at her. "Do you think that's what happiness is all about? I couldn't believe I ever loved this man." "What is it?" He smirked. "I don't know," she shook her head. More and more often Anna thought that she would live in her small apartment there now, but she wouldn't have to see all this. Natalie had called her many times, but Anna hadn't answered. She didn't want to tell her, and she didn't want to lie. "I know you liked me," Tony took her hand. "What are you doing?" She looked at him with big eyes. Selena was home and could have walked out at any moment. And what was even scarier was that his wife was in this house. "What's the big deal? Didn't you want this?" He looked at Anna defiantly. "Why didn't you invite Andrew and Cindy here?" Anna asked, to distract him. "I wanted to, so they ran out of time." He jerked Anna abruptly, pulling her to him, wanting to kiss her. "Tony, calm down." She got away from him. "I pulled you here on purpose. I wanted you to understand how to be poor and rich." He laughed at her. "That's it. I don't want to talk about it." She wanted to get up, but he pulled her by the arm, and she found herself next to him again. "Anna, I liked you too." He brought his face close to her. "Tony, you have a wife here. I have a child. How dare you?" She didn't know what else to say. "What if I pay you extra for this too?" he asked cheekily. "What?" She gasped at such insolence. "Well, why? To do practically nothing. But you will have everything." He continued his entreaties. "Let me go." She broke free of him. "You'll regret it." He looked at Anna. She went to her daughter's room, but she was doing her homework, so she went to Martha's room. She went up to the floor, went into the room. "Did you molest her?" she asked her from the doorstep. Yes, the girl did not hide anything. I heard tears rolling from Martha's eyes. "Why don't you tell anyone? Here's the phone. Doctors come to you." Anna didn't understand. "There's no money on the balance. Only Tony can call me," she said. "And the doctors don't even talk to me. They do whatever he tells them." "Wow," sighed Anna. And once again, she was convinced that she had made the right decision to leave. "What do you think?" the landlady asked. "I'll probably go home," she told her. "Please don't leave me here alone," Martha asked her. "Okay, how about when Tony is away, I'll take you to the hospital," the girl suggested. "Okay, I have the money," Martha agreed. "Then it's a deal." Anna wanted to leave the room. "Wait, I need help with something else," she asked her. "What?" The assistant looked at her. Help me with the documents. I have a lawyer I know. He will do everything for you. You just need to take it. She showed her a folder that was under the mattress. The address? Anna looked questioningly. It's all there. Martha pointed to the folder with her eyes. Good, nodded the girl. She left the room, took the documents to her room, and started to pack her things. The next day, when Tony left, Anna sent her daughter to school, called a cab, and went to the lawyer. It turned out to be an elderly man who received Anna very well. They talked. The man went through all the documentation, sat nodding. After that, he said everything would be fine, sent her back home. I've taken everything away. Now all that's left is to move you, she told Martha. Great, I'm ready, she smiled. Anna called an ambulance because Martha could only be transported lying down. The medics helped. Now Anna, Selena, and Martha were in the car. Thank you. If you hadn't come, I would have been lying there for an unknown amount of time. Maybe I would have died. Martha almost cried. Everything will be all right. Anna remembered Natalie, who used to say that all the time. We'll meet again, Martha promised her. Of course, nodded the girl. She and her daughter got on the train and drove to her place. On the way, Anna was silent for a long time and thought that her life would never be the same again. How could this happen to a man who was honest and decent? Natalie, hello. Anna called her when she was already in her town and in her apartment. Oh, finally. I thought you had gone to your rich man, and now old friends are no longer important, she said in a hurt voice. Natalie, can you come at least for the weekend? I had so much to tell you. I don't know, I'll try, promised her friend. She didn't want to say anything on the phone. Selena was very upset that she had left the school where she had studied for so long. It's okay, daughter. It's a good school here too. Her mother stroked her head. Okay, Mommy. The daughter was always for her mother. They went on with their lives. Anna was even taken back to her old job. On the weekend, Natalie arrived as promised. Harvey was there for her as always. They called Andrew. They came too. Friends were all there as usual. Well, tell me about it. Natalie was ready to hear her out. Oh, I went away, and what I had there, everything turned upside down. I could not even imagine that people could be like that, she began to tell, and for some reason the girl cried. So, what's the story? My friend couldn't wait. Tony, Anna told them everything. Wow, that's a lot to suffer to change like that. There are two conclusions. Either he was really hurt, or he was always like that. We just didn't know him well, Andrew said. It just didn't make sense to me when I was there, Anna told them. Tell me, did you at least not give him that $1 million? I wanted to, so he didn't take it. He said he didn't need my handouts, she smiled. Yes, friend, you are in a situation. The girl shook her head. I myself understand what happened there. If only Martha were all right now, she wished it were true. The friends sat up until almost morning today discussing the situation. They couldn't believe that everyone was still normal, and the same Tony they had always pitied and admonished had become so. Okay, friends, he's been out of our lives for so many years. Here and now, let's pretend it's still like this, Anna asked everyone. The couples parted ways and the mom and daughter's life continued. Since Anna had been saving on herself and her child for so long, and now she knew for sure that no one was going to take money away from her, she began to take a little from there. Selena, I bought a cake so I could make her mother happy on Friday. Thank you. The girl was happy. One day there was a knock on Anna's door. It seems I was not expecting guests, and you. The girl has become quite mature. She almost finished the 3rd grade. No, she looked at the front door. Anna went to open the door. A gorgeous woman stood on the threshold. Hello, who are you here to see? The girl asked her. Anna, didn't you recognize me? Martha asked and took off her dark glasses. Wow, you're walking. The girl couldn't believe it. Yes, and all thanks to you. She walked to their apartment. Sorry, I don't have as much room here as you do, the landlady told her. Come on, what apologies can there be? Martha looked at her sternly. Selina looked at her guest too and couldn't take her eyes off her. Will you tell me what happened there? Anna asked. Of course, you could say that's all I came for, she smiled. Would you like some tea? Anna couldn't help but suggest it. Yes, Martha nodded. While the girl was in the kitchen, the guests sat and talked to Selina. All together, they went to the children's cafe, which was practically in the yard of Anna and Selina's house. There they settled down well, and a serious conversation began. Anna, I didn't come empty-handed, Martha told her suddenly. What do you mean, not empty-handed? Selina did not understand, for her aunt had nothing in her hands. It's just a saying, they laughed. I don't want anything from you. Anna began to deny it at once. Listen, it's a simple gratitude. If not for you, then I. She did not want to say this terrible word. I only called the car. Everything else is you and your money, the girl told her. If you don't accept, I'll take offense. Martha looked her in the eye. Okay, what is it? I couldn't believe this was actually happening. The apartment, your apartment. She handed her the papers and keys. Martha, you can't do that. She started giving it all back. You have a growing daughter. You'll live there now. You'll rent this one. And when Selina grows up, you'll move back here, she instructed her. Thank you, Anna thought. Martha was really right. That's it, girls, I'm off, and I'll be waiting for you to visit. They hugged Anna, and the woman kissed Selina. Bye. Don't be sick. Anna hugged her again. Do we have an apartment now? Selina asked her mom. Apparently yes, she smiled. Shall we go see it? Said the girl. Ah, let's go. Anna waved her hand. It was the very center of their city. A new house, Sunnyside, 3 huge rooms. After hers, it seemed like a place to play soccer. Mom, when are we moving in? The girl asked. I don't know. We should ask someone to help us move things, Anna said thoughtfully. On the one hand, she had no luck in her life, but on the other hand, it was the other way around. Who knows what turn fate has in store for you? She called Natalie again and told her everything. Just to see it all and help you with the move, I will come, her friend promised her again. And I'm always waiting and happy to see you, Anna said and immediately dialed Andrew's number. They too agreed, and just like Natalie was shocked by the news. Anna and Selina drove home today, happy and tired. As they approached the driveway, they saw someone sitting there. Hi. Anna recognized Tony right away. You weren't expecting him. He was grinning. I don't know. She didn't feel like talking to him. I called you over to show you off, and you turned it around. He shook his head. What do you want? She asked, not looking at him. Don't you want me to call you? He pointed to the entryway. Sorry, but no, she wanted to go on. Wait, you see, I have nowhere to go. He took her hand. Tony, I don't ever want to know or see you again. Anna looked at him with contempt, remembering how many things he had done. Well, he got up from the bench and walked. Now he was slouching, seemed shorter in stature. And he looked like Tony again, in his tattered clothes. Anna felt sorry for him. She wanted to catch up with him, turn him around, give him tea, warm him with a word. Mom, let's go home. You forgot that we need to pack, pulled her sleeve Selina. Yes, Anna realized. They walked into the entryway. She hadn't heard or seen Tony again since. When all the stuff was packed, friends came over the weekend. They had arranged a big move. Not only that, Anna had also ordered new furniture that needed to be assembled. All together, they sat over the instructions and couldn't understand them. Oh friend, I'm so happy for you. Now all you have to do is find a good man, Natalie hugged her. Everything will be fine, strangely enough. But today she, not Natalie, said this phrase. When almost everything was done, Andrew's phone rang. As he spoke, he looked up at everyone who was here. It's Evan. Says he's back. Wants to join. He hasn't dropped the call yet. Send him over, Anna said. And here comes the man. Natalie winked at Anna.
Thank you for watching this video to the end. Subscribe to the channel. Like it, write comments if you like the story, and see you on the channel.